born of the Spirit, supernatural living. Born of the Spirit, supernatural living. In Matthew chapter 16 verse 13, Matthew chapter 16 verse number 13. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? Next verse. And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. Next verse. He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Next verse. And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Next verse. Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. So he says, flesh and blood did not reveal it unto you. In other words, experience didn't do this. But he said, but my Father. Now that word revealed is a term we need to get used to. It's the Greek word apokalypto. Apokalypto. A-P-O-K-A-L-U-P-T-O. Apokalypto. It means to uncover. There are two words. The first one is apo, which means away from. To take away from, apo. Then the other word is the word kalypto, which is to cover. So apocalypsis means to take away the cover. To take away the cover. In other words, the skin, the flesh, and the blood of Jesus was a covering. You couldn't distinguish him from people by looking at him. In fact, the prophecy of Isaiah said, there was nothing that we should desire in him. Flesh and blood haven't revealed this, but my Father which is in heaven. Please pay attention. He said this is by revelation. So revelation means to look beyond the senses. To look beyond the senses of taste, touch, smell. To look beyond the senses. It also means to see beyond the senses. Beyond what the eyes can grapple with at that point. That means Peter did not know Christ by his physical eyes. Not by eating and drinking with Jesus. Now notice what he says. He said, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah. How are you? Somebody says, I am blessed. Somebody says, well, God has blessed me with a baby boy. But Jesus never used the word blessed for anything material. He never did, not even once. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, verse 4, verse 5, verse 6, verse 7, verse 8, 9, and 10, he used it for persecution. He used it, blessed are you when you are persecuted. When people shall say all manner of evil against you, blessed are you. He used it for persecution. He used it for being peaceful. Blessed are you. Blessed are the peacemakers. When you use the word blessed, it means you are fortunate. It means you are worthy to be envied. Same thing with commending. Look at Matthew 11:6. Matthew chapter 11 verse number 6. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Look at Matthew chapter 13 verse 6. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Because they had no root, they withered away. Look at the next verse. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. Next verse. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30-fold. Next verse. Who had ears to hear, let him hear. Next verse. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Next verse. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Next verse. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he had. Next verse. Pay attention. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Next verse. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing you shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and not perceive. Next verse. Oh boy. For these people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and shall understand with their heart, and shall be converted, and I shall heal them. Next verse. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. So he uses the word blessed for acts of faith, and he uses the word blessed for revelation. He never used the word blessed for owning things in the natural, not even once. Jesus never used the word blessed for material acquisitions. He used them for act of faith, and he also used them for revelation knowledge. And also in the epistles, it was never used for anything material, not once. And that's instructive in itself, showing that the focus of the new covenant is on spiritual realities. The focus of the new covenant is on spiritual realities. Now, having said that, he said, you are blessed because you saw it. In other words, revelation is blessedness. Can somebody shout very loud at the top of your voices? Revelation is blessedness. Revelation means to know beyond experience. That means when you know beyond experience, that is being blessed. Can somebody shout, I am blessed? Say it again. Let your neighbor be envious. Say it like you know what you're talking about. So revelation knowledge is the blessedness here. He said, blessed are you, Simon Barjona. Flesh and blood hath not revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven. Obviously, the revelation is referring to there is the incarnation of Christ. That's why he said, flesh and blood hath not revealed this unto you. But however, Jesus stepped it up a bit. And that shows you that what Peter knew was progressive. It was not conclusive. In Matthew chapter 16 verse 18, look at what Jesus said. Matthew 16, 18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. You know, some assume that he said, I will build my church on Peter. So how will he have said the gates of hell shall not prevail against Peter? It doesn't make sense. The word build is the Greek word oikodomio. It's not a progressive work. It means to establish something. For example, when you say the school was founded in 1949, it's not a progressive work. It's what has already been done. I will build my church means the church has been built. So upon this rock, I will build my church. That means I will establish my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against establishing my church. That is, since you have known this truth, that I am the Christ, that means I am the one the prophets spoke about. And upon this truth, in the mouth of the prophets that you have found out, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Please pay attention. The word church is the word ecclesia. Ecclesia. And it has two words. The word ek, which is out of, Lycia, from the word kaleo, K-A-L-E-O. Lycia, from the word kaleo, to call out. So I will call out. To call out, that's the church. Those who are called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Those who are called out of sin, out of the flesh, into his righteousness. The called out ones. The ecclesia. Those that have been called from death to life. The ecclesia. And you know, he says gates of hell. Now there's a whole lot of explanation on the gates of hell. Some say the church is marching on. The church is marching on. The church is marching on. The gates of hell shall not prevail. The church is marching on. I am telling you, what God is doing in your life, the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Stop that. Stop that. Stop reading your thoughts into the Bible. Have you died? You have not died. So why will I say the gates of hell cannot prevail against you? It's when you die that the gates of hell will need you. When you are still alive, the gate of hell has no business with you. Are we together here? So the word gates, when he said the gates of hell, Jesus was speaking about his resurrection. When he says the gates, the word gates means an exit. It's used for a door.